Accepting that you have trauma is a tough pill to swallow, especially as a man. And this is because trauma normally involves emotions, and this is something that we as men are not so fluent in. A man is distinguished from a boy through taking action, and more videos on that will be made in the future. So make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss them. Today's video is all about taking action, how to deal with childhood trauma. So be a man and stick with me till the end. On this video, I decided to not script anything, but I only have the 4 points that I'm going to be talking with you guys about. The steps that you're going to take in order for you to deal with your childhood trauma. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get into it. As you might already know, the first step to overcome anything, or the first step towards progress, is accepting that there is something that needs to be dealt with. And that's the first step that you need to take in order for you to overcome your trauma, which is accepting that you have trauma. This is the golden key, because if you are in denial, then there is no way in which you're going to focus your attention and finding solutions on how to actually deal with the trauma that you might have. So accepting not only helps with dealing with the issue, but you're just in a better position because you no longer function out of denial. Your actions come from the fact that you already know that there is something that you're dealing with. And the second point is that you have to understand your trauma and how it is affecting your life. After surfing through the web, I've seen that there are multiple traumas, of which is something that I have an issue with to some extent. And I'll also make few videos on that in the future. So just stick around. And the reason why, just to touch on that for a while, the reason why is because I feel as if most of the things, most of the issues, the psychological issues, medical issues that are out there are somewhat made up. Understanding your trauma and how it is actually affecting your life, it also links to the first option, because when you understand what it is that you're dealing with, you're in a better position to actually deal with that thing effectively. See, if you know that you're going to be, say, for example, hunting, you know what it is that you need to have in your backpack. Same with hiking or going to school, for example. So here, you have to understand your trauma and how it is actually affecting your life. So if you want a video on the different types of traumas that are out there, just let me know. And then the third one, you have to use your trauma. And now this talks about action, using the trauma. Understanding that you have an issue and accepting it is one thing, but being in the position to be creative enough to use that in order for you to make something out of your life, that's also a different scenario in of itself. And that's what we're going to talk about now. When I say use your trauma, I'm talking about, using that feeling, that emotion you have. Sometimes trauma can come in various ways, right? Sometimes it comes in a form of anger, right? You're either angry towards someone or towards a certain situation, or also at yourself as well. Why is it that you dealt with such a thing, or you know what I'm talking about. So since now we're talking about emotions, for us men, since most of the time we do not like to voice out our emotions, this is something that could cater for you mostly specifically, because I'm saying use the trauma. And by saying you must use the trauma, I'm saying that after you've accepted and understood how it is that the trauma is affecting you, you can now say, okay, I feel this way, but instead of letting it drive me towards a negative thing, I'm going to redirect this feeling, this energy, in order to produce something out of it. Say, for example, if someone tells you that you're a weakling and you will never achieve anything, there is an emotion that spikes, that boils. There's this switch that gets turned on that, you know what, this person is crazy and I'm going to prove them wrong. That's something that I'm talking about. You didn't go and cry. Well, you choose to, but normally you wouldn't go and cry and say that a person said that I'm a nobody or something like that. But you were going to actually use those words to prove them wrong. And now I'm not saying you should do things just to please people or to just prove yourself to people. No, this is between you and your childhood self. So do a favor to your childhood self and also to your future self because they interlink, right? And use that trauma. You can either use the emotion, there's a lot that you can do with it, but just use it. And if you want us to discuss more on this as well, just let me know in the comments. And then finally, you let go. You can skip some of the things that I've talked about, but the fourth one, letting go, that is the ultimate. You cannot miss this one. And you cannot overcome or deal with your trauma without letting it go. I know it's a difficult thing to go through, but ultimately, you just have to let go of that baggage. I heard this one speaker this one time saying, it's more like you're carrying dead weight when you have something in the past that's holding you back. So make sure that after all that happens, if you're going to go through the first step, which was accepting that you have trauma, and the second, understanding the trauma and how it's affecting your life, using it. If you're going to go through all three, the fourth one, which is letting go, has to be your ultimate. Even if you don't go through all three, or you just want to come to this one, make sure, beg you, make sure you let go of that baggage, because it won't only help you start afresh or just build from a solid foundation. It's something that's going to change your life. And trust me, you'll feel it. When you no longer have something dragging you, you can walk freely. You know what I mean? Imagine walking and there's a rock that's tied to your back and you have to walk with the thing. It's difficult, right? But then imagine the difference without, or you can even just experiment and try it out. And come and let me know in the comments how the experience was. So you have to let go. And I know that letting go or letting go of something, that's a very deep topic in of itself. And I will make a specific video on how to let go actually as a person, because it's something that I also had to learn throughout my life. I'm still learning now, because I'm not saying I'm a master or anything like that, but it's something that I've continuously learned, and it's something that I believe I can have an opinion on, because there's a bunch of situations that I had to learn to let go. It sucked, but it did help. Another way to deal with that is through our Discord, right? I did say before that I'm working on a community of adventurers. The adventurers get together. I know it's still in its early stage of functionality, like I've mentioned in one of the posts, but it's out there for us to actually go and dive deep into this subject. So I'll link it in the description below. Just make sure you click it, and then I'll see you on the other side. If your past has the potential to haunt you, then brother, sister, father, or mother, you do not have a stable future. And by the way, if you want to live a more vibrant and adventurous life, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. Until next time, stay vibrant and be adventurous.